Hi, and thank you for viewing our presentation. My name is Nima Agah, and I'm a second-year law student here at Duke University.
Hey, I'm Sebastian. I am an undergraduate junior studying electrical and computer engineering at Duke.
Hi, I'm Sara and Brackett. I'm a freshman studying computer science and public policy.
And we're here today to take on the role of the board of directors for SeaClear Inc. and give some recommendations on how to move the company forward. So we, the board of directors for SeaClear, recommend the following actions to position SeaClear as the market leader in the ethical use and development of facial recognition technology, thereby benefiting our shareholders and the public through the advancement of technology. Our first recommendation is to adopt guiding principles of justice and humility as a company. We believe that doing so will then improve our face check software through practices that come out of that, which will then help us limit the sale and licensure of face check to specific localized users and other groups that meet very rigorous standards we'll be setting forth, and that we can then eventually restructure SeaClear from a classical corporation into a benefit corporation, which allows and empowers the board to make all the changes necessary to do this and to benefit the public. So to begin, we think that the first course of action our company needs to take is to really look at our culture overall and think about what kind of moral guiding principles we think we need to make the changes we're about to propose. We're particularly persuaded by virtue ethics and two specific virtues that come from this classical tradition. To give a brief intro, virtue ethics is an ancient approach to moral philosophy popularized by folks like Plato and Aristotle that really puts the focus on ethics on the character of a person, or rather their virtues. A person with good virtues is disposed to act well in a variety of circumstances. And we think this is important because it gives our company and people the flexibility to adapt to the many changes emerging technology brings. We've narrowed in on justice and humility as two virtues, as we've defined here, that will really guide the development of our technology and make us able to both equitably distribute the benefits and risks of facial recognition technology and be humble and move slowly so as to mitigate those risks and really take this more seriously than a lot of other competitors are doing.
We're now going to look at how the current status of facial recognition technology and face check fits into the broader framework, or the broader ethical framework we have set up for our company. The first concern we're going to look at is the issue of complexity. Facial recognition technology inherently is a very complicated and interdisciplinary technology, all the way from things like mathematics to electrical engineering to computer science, even how things like cameras work, all play factors in determining whether face check is going to be consistent with our values of justice and humility. In order to ensure that we design the best and most ethical technology possible, we have to ensure that inside the actual process of development, the design considerations that determine whether one design choice or another, even in simple things like which algorithm to use or which implementation to use, has the factor of whether they are ethical and has the factor of whether they are just in terms of ensuring equal outcome for everyone, regardless of arbitrary factors. Those types of design considerations built into our engineering process is what's going to make us stand out and ensure that we develop the best product possible. We also have to be aware that this is going to require constant product development. If we see something that means that our technology is being misused or has some sort of unequitable feature, we have to be willing to go back and change it, even if that's not necessarily in our immediate financial interest. The second major concern we're going to look at is the issue of privacy. Anyone who's familiar with facial recognition technology is well aware of the privacy concerns in capturing people's faces and storing them, and then running it through an algorithm. We identify three areas that need most concern. The first is the misuse. We have to ensure that anyone we give our facial recognition technology to does not misuse either the technology or the data they're collecting. Second, we have to ensure that anyone who is storing it, including either ourselves or some sort of external company that we sell our product to, has the best security practices in making sure that there isn't a possible data breach. Finally, anyone who uses face check has to provide some level of notice that the people who are then having their faces checked via our technology are aware that's going to occur. Consent is a necessary process of being equitable, and ensuring that people are aware of our technology existing and potentially being used on them must happen. In order to ensure compliance, we're going to have a yearly audit that ensures that every single company is consistent, or who's using our product is consistent with these principles and doing things to mitigate the possible privacy risks. The next issue and final issue we're going to discuss is that of equity. It is well known that facial recognition technology has a serious issue when it comes to racial bias and gender bias. These are caused by things like the data training pool not being particularly diverse, databases being overrepresenting one group over another, and in general, the photo quality of the actual pictures being taken is not good enough in order for an equitable identification rate to occur. In fact, 31% of all mismatches are isolated to the group of women of color. That statistic alone shows that there's a serious equity issue here, because in order for justice to occur, people should have equal outcomes regardless of arbitrary factors they cannot control, like their skin color, where they were born, or how their face looks. In order to ensure that we are consistent with that value, we must take steps, which we'll discuss now, in order to mitigate these equity concerns.
Based on these concerns, we're going to take steps to limit these concerns, as Sebastian said. So we have a series of recommendations and requirements for anyone who wishes to use the face check technology. First is that customers are required to use high quality data collection equipment, which means that cameras should be high quality to ensure that accurate facial recognitions can be made. Second, customers are prohibited from sharing data or assessments from our technology with third parties, including law enforcement agencies. Because of face check status as a developing technology, we wish to continue to allow the technology more time to develop and the accuracy to be more confident before law enforcement agencies make decisions using our technology. Customers also have to agree to obtain informed consent from people whose face data will be captured. They can do this through signage in areas where there will be cameras or by requiring customers to acknowledge that their data will be retained. To ensure compliance with these first three requirements, customers will agree to an annual audit by our company to confirm that use, storage, and security practices are being followed. In the context of the Shoppeur case, we recommend that the Shoppeur is not allowed to use face check until they amend their proposal to meet our requirements. They are currently in violation of one of our requirements, which is providing data to a third party or law enforcement. We propose that instead of using mugshots and providing data to law enforcement, they create a proprietary database of images of shoplifters within their own stores they can share within stores, but not with law enforcement or the public. We think that this would allow for them to gain the benefits of face check while not violating our requirements.
And finally, we believe that in order to incorporate all of these changes and to empower our board to be an ethical company without worry of being sued by shareholders, that we need to restructure our company away from a classical corporation into a benefit corporation. Now, the reason we think it's important to depart from the corporate status quo is that normally a board of directors under a classic corporation owes a set of fiduciary duties to its shareholders. These include things like the duty of care and loyalty, and for our purposes, most importantly, the idea that we need to maximize shareholder wealth. Now, we're in it for our shareholders, and we want to give you as much value as possible, but we never want to have to choose between doing that and making an ethical decision. We believe and now have found that legally, if we convert into a benefit corporation, we will be able to balance those interests and have some stated purpose in our certificate of incorporation, hopefully that incorporates our guiding principles to drive the direction of our company and really let the board make those decisions and even turn down clients like Shoppeur, even when the economics check out, if we truly think that people are going to get harmed by this decision. Another important aspect of this conversion is that beyond just enabling our board, this signals to investors, employees, recruits from colleges, and even the market that we take our ethical values seriously. Regardless of any policy coming in or any legislation, we're ahead of the curve and we want to do things right from the start. So thank you for listening to our presentation, and we hope that you find our recommendations as a board persuasive and can help move our company into the future.